First real shoot impressions of 5D Mark IV. I threw everything that I could at it today. I challenged everything that they claim to have higher dynamic range, so you'll see my shots, extreme situations of highlight, shadow and midtones in the background that I'm going to process and see what I get out of this sensor. I challenged its dual pixel raw sharpening capabilities by shooting the ballet. Obviously a lot of movement in that. The fashion also had quite a bit of movement in it. The whole shoot wasn't designed to make me look good, it was designed to challenge the capabilities of this camera. We will have a follow-up interview once I have processed some images and see how far the capabilities of dual pixel raw extends. I focused quite a bit of the shoot on dual pixel raw because, let's face it, it's a Canon 5D Mark IV. It is going to be an excellent camera. Far be it from me to go and challenge what millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of R&D and Canon ingenuity are putting together over here. I take all of that for granted. I can see it in the images, I can see it's good, I can see its performance is good. What I'm interested in is how good is this dual pixel raw shooting capability going to be revolutionary, or is it going to be something that we kind of put away? I shot both of my shoots, the entire shoot in dual pixel raw, which is not the recommendation. The recommendation is that it's going to slow you down, it's going to make the camera a little bit cumbersome. I had to stop shooting at some point to go and check in my menu just to verify that dual pixel raw was actually on, because I felt absolutely no lag. I was expecting to feel lag, I was expecting to feel the camera buffer, I was expecting to have those usual little moments where the camera is buffering and you have to stop shooting because nothing's happening on the trigger. I didn't experience that once. Focusing. I am in some serious doubt as to how much dual pixel raw is going to help me. Not because I'm doubting the capabilities of dual pixel raw, but the focusing system in here is that good that everything that I've looked at so far seems to be in. I seem to be already getting a better hit ratio with this camera and the focusing system that Canon have taken from 1DX Mark II and basically transposed a very similar, if not identical, focusing system into the 5D Mark IV. And I'm actually quite disappointed because I don't know if it's going to challenge dual pixel raw as much as I hoped it would. I didn't just present it with a very easy, comfortable situation, and it was faultless. It wasn't hunting, it was fast, it was efficient, and to the best of what I can see off of camera and the little bit that I saw on laptop via Wi-Fi, it holds everything very well. So watch this space, because as soon as I've had a good look at these and processed these raw images, we will see what dual pixel raw actually does. And we will also see whether it's necessary, because this focusing system is that good. So 5D Mark IV. Boy, we've been waiting a long time for this one. The basics: 30 million pixels, 7 times a second. Ample. I shoot 50 million and I shoot 21 million. 50 million sometimes feels like it's too much. 21 feels like it's a little bitsy sometimes. 30 million looks great. CF and SD, thankfully, I think for most, they didn't change over to CFast cards, which means even more money out of your pocket. CFast only necessary when you start really getting angry with your 4K video, but CF and SD, fantastic. They've added the earphone jack, which everyone that shoots video has been asking for. So we got earphone jacks, we got mic jacks, we've got HDMI out, and we've got 4K that comes off of a cropped area of the sensor that effectively changes your lenses. it gives you something that's a little bit smaller than a Super 35 chip, which is common to the cinema cameras and a lot of other video cameras out there, so not too foreign to people. Increased frame rates for video, so you can shoot 720 at 120 frames per second, you can shoot Full HD at 60 frames per second, and you can shoot 4K at 30 frames per second. Back to stills, the dual pixel autofocusing system is something worth jumping up and down about. Two aspects to it. One, as a focusing system, it gives you autofocus in video, and it vastly improves your focusing system for stills. When I say vastly, I thought I would get excited about the other aspect of dual pixel RAW that they added, which we'll chat about just now. But dual pixel RAW focusing system that comes from the 1DX Mark II, superb, phenomenal, hit ratio is through the roof for me. I like shooting 85 1.2. I usually use a loss ratio of probably 3 out of every 10 shots that I know I'm going to lose. I think I've probably won 2 of those 3 back. It's that good. It is really that good. The first aspect that I got excited about was shooting dual pixel RAW files. Now what that basically means is it retains the information from the 2 micro sites, and you can go in afterwards and you can tweak a few aspects of your file. On the ear, it sounds like the most exciting part is that you can slightly, very slightly adjust sharpness of your file after the fact. Yes, it's not focus, you're not going to adjust your focus afterwards, but there is an element of sharpness that you can adjust slightly. Now, what happens is, the longer your lens, the more that comes into play. So I tested it. I took to the extreme. I took a macro lens. I think it's the EF65, which is a ridiculous macro lens with a focusing distance of 1 centimeter or 2. And no, you cannot see anything there. It does absolutely nothing. 50mm lens. No, I did not see anything there. It does absolutely nothing. It starts showing you something from an 85mm lens onwards. If you are shooting 200mm, 400mm in the wild, you will be able to shift your sharpness ever so slightly. So effectively, from 85 onwards, if your sharpness is maybe just tip of the nose to the eye, no, I don't think so. Not from what I've seen anyway, from what I've been doing. But from the cheek to the eye, you increase the sharpness. You get the eyelashes back. So great for that. I think where it's really going to be used and come in handy is probably wildlife photographers. Look, this is 30 million at 7 frames per second. Now, the Mark III was the Swiss Army knife. The Mark IV continues that tradition. You can comfortably take this camera anywhere and pretty much do anything with it. And I am guessing that dual pixel RAW shooting is going to get wildlife photographers excited, because with that 400mm lens, you know what I'm talking about, and you just want to shift the sharpness of the shot. It's there. It's there. It looks good. The other aspect that's exciting about that is shifting the bokeh. So if you think of your eyes and you close one eye, you get a perspective. You close the other eye, you get a slightly different perspective. So in my mind, that's what the dual pixel system is doing after the fact. You can go in and shift your bokeh. So if you've got some grass that's just coming in over the leopard's face, or a leaf or something like that, and you want to try and shift it, you're not going to eliminate it completely, but you can just shift it off. And on all lenses, it seems to be doing that quite effectively. Even on that macro lens, it almost looks like it bends your picture ever so slightly, which is pretty cool for when you want to use it. So they claim that it slows the camera down ridiculously. Now, I wasn't shooting any ferocious sports and trying to shoot at 7 frames per second. I'm still just on one shot, and with my finger, boom, 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 I might have a little burst. At some point of the shoot, I had to go back into the menu and just make certain that I had dual pixel RAW shooting on, because the camera didn't slow down, it didn't buffer, it wasn't doing anything. But bear in mind, I'm not shooting overexcitedly. Every now and again, I'll have a little burst of fury and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So it's not constant, but not once during all of the work that I've done with the camera did it buffer, slow down, or not let me shoot. You will find it if you go out into the field and really try and push it and get more frames out of it. So next thing is dynamic range. They've brought in some of the very clever maths from 1DX Mark II, and they've dropped it into this little baby. Dynamic range now allows you to open up your shadows. Canon have always favored highlights, but now they've increased the range in the shadow areas. What that effectively means is I took the file into my software afterwards, and I tried to open up those shadows as far as I possibly could, where usually a file will break apart. It didn't. It's clean. Right, touchscreen control. So cool. Most people don't go into a shooting environment where you are tethered to a laptop or something like that client's looking at. You take a few shots and you want to show someone a shot quickly. Touchscreen, fantastic. Flick through your shots, enlarge them, make them smaller, get rid of them, do whatever you want. That's fantastic when you're talking to a client. Menu-wise, you press your Q button, you customize your menu, anything you want to adjust, ISO, drag it, file size, drag it, file quality, drag it, f-stop, drag it. Everything happens right over here. And after a little bit of getting used to it, it's superb. It's very, very functional. We used to that with our smartphones. We live with that every day. It becomes very functional. Ergonomically, it feels great in hand. This little ridge over here has been improved ever so slightly. It fits nicely. I don't like all of these funny things that are attached to it, but that's how I got the sample from Canon. So I live with it for a while until I get my own, which I will be doing very soon. Menu layout, very, very comfortable. If you're coming from 5D Mark III, incredibly familiar. Everything's in the right place, everything's recognizable, very easy. The only thing that you'll see notice that's really different is dual pixel RAW. Shutter is slightly different. If you're coming from 5D Mark III, you're going to think there's a lag, or you're going to think there's something odd. That's just a case of getting used to it for a while. The shutter's been beefed up, it's been suppressed a little bit more, it's softer, it's silkier, it feels like a 5DS. It's wonderful. Wireless is great. Very easy, very simple, works perfectly. You load the software onto your laptop, you switch your camera on, it gives you a little code, you punch in a code, it finds it. After a while, it gets a little bit annoying because every time you switch your camera on, the laptop is looking for its friend. File transfer, a little bit slow. You don't want to be automatically transferring all of your RAW files straight over. Takes 10-15 seconds to transfer a 30 million pixel RAW file. So in a shoot environment, practically you're not going to be shooting, and the client's going to be, after a few minutes, waiting for another 2 cups of coffee before a file comes through. So not practical in that sense, but get your RAW files onto the CF card over here and just get some JPEGs through to the laptop. Great reference points. The thumbnails come up pretty much immediately, work seamlessly. Okay, so my only beef was the software, DPP. Clunky. I felt a little bit like a caveman with a club trying to get something out of a file, which became a little bit frustrating. So from your camera dual pixel camera raw file, you have to go through DPP and you have to create a file from that first. Then I found afterwards, to my pleasant surprise, that I exported just a 16-bit TIFF file, took it back into software that I was more comfortable with, that had much finer control, and everything was there. It was perfect. I could work on it quite happily. So in closing, 5D Mark IV, do I buy it? Hell yes, I do. Why do I buy it? 30 million is great. I find 50 million a little bit too much and 21 million is too little. 30 million is fantastic. File quality is fantastic. Dynamic range is fantastic. The focusing system is mind-blowing. You are going to love the focusing system. Other reasons to buy it? It's the Swiss Army knife. Everything is there that you want to be there. There is, for me, absolutely nothing lacking from this camera.